Good afternoon, everyone. You're off the beaten trail with Edward again, here at the Gibson Guitar Factory in Kalamazoo, which I did a video on here earlier, a few days ago, and I got thinking about some other things here at the factory, names, the types of products, and I just thought that it would be best to come back and do a little part two. I could feel the spirit of this place calling me back to do that. Just to drop a couple more names there. Ed. And so I'm here to do that today, a little more history, and I know that you will enjoy. Right here in this plant, in 1958, the very first humbucking pickups invented here by Seth Lover were installed in a Gibson Les Paul electric guitar. We're going to talk about electric guitars a little bit. Some flat top 6 strings too. It's amazing to think that right here in this building, up until 1984, they ceased production here. Every Flying V, every Les Paul Standard and Custom and Gold Top, every SG, every Explorer, the Firebird, its bass, the Thunderbird, the Ripper, the EB basses, Gene Simmons liked the Grabber, all manufactured right here. A little story: one day, customer service here received a phone call, and it was a lady. She was calling to check on the progress of her son's guitar. He'd sent in here to have some customizations done, and the customer service representative says, "Well, sure, what's your son's name?" And she said, "John Cougar Mellencamp." It was Mellencamp's mother. He was predisposed at the minute and had his mom call Gibson to check on his axe. Just interesting as can be. Roy Clark, he played the Birdman Gibson, made right here. And Sister Rosetta Tharpe, the godmother of rock and roll. Her 56 Les Paul Gold Top, her 61 Les Paul Customs, and her white SG, all made right here in this factory. Joan Jett, several signature melody makers right here. Woody Guthrie, his Gibson L0 flat top from this building, and the luthiers therein. Dolly Parton had an L00 small body made here. She loved it. Frank Zappa's SG and his 335. And who will ever forget almost every concert and picture of AC/DC's Angus Young and his Gibson SG, wailing right out of this factory. Muddy Waters Les Paul Gold Top. Joe Walsh's twin neck Gibson EDS, the 1275. He also played probably the very best on his Les Paul Standard. Right here in this building, in 1969, a Gibson Hummingbird acoustic guitar was manufactured. A beauty. Serial number 849-604. Was owned and played and loved by Janis Joplin. Slash. His Les Paul made here. Everybody knows Jimi Hendrix, his left-handed playing, and always with a Strat. His Fender Stratocaster. But 2 years before he transitioned to his Fender Strat, he played a Gibson Flying V. Kurt Cobain, his Les Paul Customs. Glenn Frey, Eric Clapton on their 335s. Roy Orbison, 335. Eddie Van Halen, 335 and a 1958 Flying V. And one of my most favorite performers and songwriters, my gosh almighty, John Prine, who passed away not too long ago. His beautiful little J200 right here in this factory. It's amazing. I told you in the first video, the names go on and on. I have two more. We talked about John Lennon's guitar manufactured here. $2.4 million. Well, back in the day, Rick Derringer picked up a red Les Paul. It was a standard, beautiful red color, excuse me. Rick Derringer played it for a while, then passed it along to John Sebastian. He in turn passed it along to, of all people, Eric Clapton. And then Clapton passed it along to George Harrison, who loved it and even named it Lucy. It is one of the most famous electric guitars in the world. And here I pause. I'm going to look at another part of the factory.